again, everybody, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, Mac Davis, and my normal co-host, Mr. Teddy Long. He's not here. He's on a special assignment. We'll find out more about that next week. But this week, I made a phone call. There's one guy that Teddy and I have talked to in the last year, 2 years now. And I always feel like we just click so easy that having a conversation is no problem. So I picked up the phone, called Downtown Bruno, and asked him, would he join the show? And he said, absolutely. Bruno, how you doing, brother?
Good. I want to say hi, y'all, from Mississippi. And
I'm from Georgia, so y'all is down here too.
there you go. So I'm just happy to be here. And I always hate it when Teddy's not involved, because that means I'm the ugliest son of a bitch on the broadcast.
Bruno, they're really, I say this, and I'm not saying it jokingly, that you and I, we kind of click. Just immediately, I can tell how easy you are to talk to. And we didn't have a whole lot of time the first time we had a chat to really kind of find out some of the details of how you actually got into wrestling. I know that you came in before Rocky Johnson got in the picture, correct?
Yeah. The first guy I worked for was the guy named Dale Mann. It was Mid-Continent Wrestling out of Jamestown, Kentucky. And I went on tour with him working on the ring crew. And he let me manage, even though I didn't have a clue what I was doing. He let me manage. And that's how I kind of got my first feet wet as a manager, which I always wanted to be. But I had potential, but I wasn't any good at it because I didn't know what I was doing. And then a guy named Newton Cattry, who was Guido Mongo, he helped me a lot in those days too, as did a guy named Jonathan Boyd, one of the original Kiwi sheep herders before Luke and Butch. He was also one of the Royal Kangaroos. They all helped me along the way. But then when I went to work for Bob Geigel in Kansas City is when Rocky and I clicked, just like you and I did, and me and Teddy and me and a lot of people. And Rocky brought me to Hawaii and got me my first full-time managing thing where I didn't have to put up the ring. I didn't have to put out posters. I didn't have to put up chairs.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my goal in life was I was to manage here in the Memphis territory, which, everybody, wherever they grew up, that's their goal if they're in our business, to be in their home territory.
Yeah.
That was the big leagues to me, and it was. And Lawler was in Hawaii, and he was explaining to me that he thought I was doing a great job. He had me manage him over there. But there was this guy you might have heard of that was managing in Memphis at the time named Jimmy Hart.
Oh,
yeah. So there wasn't a spot for another manager. And, they probably had like a valet girl with some guy, or maybe Tojo was always there as a manager, but there wasn't a spot for me. Well, when Hart left for New York, there was my spot, there was my break, and everything went from there. So, long story short, that's in a nutshell how I got my
started in the business. The one thing that, I always ask this to people who are a little bit more old school like I am, and I believe you and I think we're probably the same age or very close to it.
Well, I'm 59, so.
Okay, I'm 60, so yeah, we are close in age. I kind of felt that when we talked a few times.
Right.
When you watch wrestling now, Bruno, it's not what we grew up with. When you see it now, how do you, as an old school fan, what do you feel like you're watching now? And let me say, I just realized, I know you're friends with Rock, and I don't want to put you on the spot because he's with the company, but I mean, just in general, there are things that are different in wrestling that really drive me crazy, and I imagine there are some with you as well.
Well, yeah, and you know what, and I'm still with the company too. I'm still a member of WWE, and it's not WWE or NXT or any of these other organizations that are. I never said competition to WWE, but opposition, I'll say.
Yes, yes.
Anything any of them do, because there is no competition for WWE. It's like, But anyway, that's not, by the way, before to get off the subject, that's not me telling the company lying. That's the truth. Okay. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, not to put a damper on what the business is doing now, because especially WWE is doing tremendous business.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting anything down. It's just not what I'm used to. Let me say that. It was a lot slower in our day. Now, there's some things that in any wrestling organization, whether it's WWE or a small indie show that I might be at for whatever reason, certain things I've never liked. Like 3 guys standing on the floor waiting for one guy to dive over the top rope. And it's like they all catch him. I hate that.
Yes.
And I swear to you, it's like in real life, let's just say you and me and Teddy were standing talking together somewhere, and some guy came running and diving at us like in a bar or something. We're going to move out of the way.
Yeah, I ain't getting hit.
Right, we're going to catch him. You know, to me, that's like things like that.
Yeah, and you know what? And I've seen that. Some people can do that, and it looks right, but it has to be timed exactly right in order for it to happen. Because you're right. If you look off to the side of the ring and you see a bunch of guys grouping together, you know, and you know they're getting ready to catch the guy who's bouncing from the other side of the ring over the rope.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, come on, guys. You need to time this where you actually all kind of come together right as he's coming over the top of the rope. And it just looks like he got lucky and you guys came together at the same time.
Right.
Something like that. But, you know, have you seen some of the latest stuff from Rock and what they led into with WrestleMania? Did you watch any of that?
Oh, yeah. And actually, I was at the FedEx Forum in Memphis when SmackDown, just a few weeks before WrestleMania, it was here in Memphis. And I, met with Rock, and that was the night he did the Rock concert where he sang the funny song and everything. And, did the interaction with Cody Rhodes and everything. Yeah. Now, let me tell you, the stuff, now, if you really want to compartmentalize these things, if you notice guys like Rock, Cody Rhodes, let's go, and Roman Reigns, and let's go back, not far back, but just recently, Stone Cold and Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, some of the greatest workers in the business, John Cena. Okay, have you noticed all these top tier guys that I just mentioned, none of them did all that crazy, stuff. And they got overused. The guys that do the crazy stuff are never the main event.
I was taught when I first got into wrestling that less is more. You don't have to, build to the excitement at the end of the match. And again, less is more. That you don't have to kill yourself. You don't need to do 50 somersaults from the top ropes, because once they see one, they've seen enough. And unless you can top that, how many times can you continue to top that move? It shortens your lifespan, to me, in the ring.
I agree. And not only that, we call it high spots for a reason. If it's one after the other, it's average. Make it mean something. Jimmy Snook didn't dive off the top rope 5 times during his match. And when he did it, the whole audience became electric,
Yes, you've got to build to it, and I don't see that anymore. I see a lot of guys going there, and especially, now I will say this, and this happens in all the companies. Again, it's not just one company. But I see too many times the things that they do in the ring that shouldn't be happening in the ring. It just makes you want to really kind of punch the screen at times.
Right.
So,
well, and like I go to a lot of smaller independent shows. They have me as a special referee or whatever.
Yeah.
And one thing I always tell the promoter or whatever, because these guys, it's their hobby. It's not their life. It's my life. Some of these guys just want to wrestle for fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's my living. And I'm watching, they just want to go these long, drawn out matches. I tell the promoter, look, can I address these guys before the event? And they always say, of course. I say, y'all, we're selling action, not time, And that's what a lot of these guys don't understand. It's a business. It's a business. Everything you can see behind me, I noticed in a Beverly Hills house, but everything in this house is paid for from professional wrestling.
Yes.
Everything. So I know what I'm talking about. After 45 years, I better know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. And that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you too, Bruno, is, you've been away from the business on a large scale for how many years now? It's been a while, right?
Since COVID, since 2020, I haven't been full-time on the road.
Would you like to go back full-time on the road again? Is that something you'd like to do? Or are you happy basically what you're doing now?
I'm extremely happy what I'm doing now, because after 42 years of constant. And I've paid a lot of dues. I paid a lot of dues in full, especially July 4th, 1994, when I was in the ditch with Joey with that wreck when he got basically beheaded.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Um, I've paid a lot of dues in full, and I feel like I've earned, a break. And I still help people. I still go to small events. I still go to conventions, and I'm always there if WWE needs me to do something. But as far as going back on the road, I'm very satisfied, and God bless, the deal I've got. I'm blessed by God, and by WWE that came together for me.
Your time period in wrestling, for a lot of fans, especially my age, and even younger and older, I'm kind of in the middle of a group there, but you were a face that was very common to see on the screen, and it seems unusual still not to see you appear once in a while as Harvey Whippleman or Downtown Bruno. Uh, with Rock back in there, do you think there might be a chance we at least get a special guest appearance from Harvey or Downtown Bruno?
I mean, if they ever ask for it, I'll certainly do it. But it's not something It's not something that's on my radar.
Yeah.
I'm just very happy being still a part of the business that I've always been a part of and been in.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud of the fact that I've got a lot of people that looked out for me. And God, I love Triple H. I love Randy Orton. I don't give a damn if anybody doesn't like this. I love Vince McMahon. He's been nothing but good to me. And that's, as Stone Cold would say, that's the bottom line. And of course, Dwayne. I mean, I owe him. I mean, he's one of the ones I owe my life to. Him and Lawler and Rocky Johnson. You know, I can't say enough good things. And I said, God bless all of them. God bless the WWE. And, I'm just proud, of the accomplishments that I've had. And I'm proud that they've respected my time in the business. And like I said, I paid those dues in full. July 4th, 1994. It was 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
What was your proudest moment in wrestling? For you personally, I don't mean it doesn't have to be because of attendance or because of the gate, whatever it may be. For you personally, what was one of those moments?
Well, when they put me in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, that was huge to me because there I was.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was a big deal to me. And just when I first signed over 35 years ago or whatever with WWE, that was a proud moment that, I made it in my home territory and I made it to the, national and worldwide, spotlight. That was a huge deal for me. But just, I'm funny. I don't think about the house and the gate and I was in the main event, whatever. I don't care. And even though it was a goofy thing when I was the Hervina, the women's champion, I can honestly say, even though it was only for one day, I was a world champion in the WWF. So, which it was F at the time, and that's how many people can say that,
What did you think when they came to you and said, "Hey, we got an idea"? What did you say?
Oh, I said, I'm game for anything as long as I'm not going to get hurt or hurt somebody else, and I don't care. I'll do anything because that's the business.
Any particular memories from that?
No, it was like it probably set the business back 20 years, and it might have been the worst match in the history of.
No. You obviously haven't seen Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That was a horrible match.
Well, I've been in quite a few horrible matches myself, So.
Were there times, though, for you, because it seems like you were so embedded in the business that, that you would do whatever you had to do to be there. Were there times where you thought, this isn't going to work for me, I got to get out of this and try something else?
No, that never crossed my mind. Yeah, now there's been days I never, ever contemplated quitting the business.
Yeah.
But there's, and anybody will tell you this has ever been a living in our business. There's days you wake up in the morning loving the business and go home at night cursing the day you got in, and vice versa.
Yes.
It happens. I mean, we all have our days, and I've had days where I was pissed off, just wanted to go home, but I never thought about getting out of the business. Never have, And if it wasn't for the business, I wouldn't have close friends like yourself and Teddy Long and Dwayne and Brooklyn Brawler, who me and him are very close, and Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert, and God bless him, the late Eddie Gilbert, and so many close friends, the King, Jerry Lawler, and Mick Foley. I mean, I don't want to keep naming names. I'm going to leave somebody out, obviously. but that's just, I wouldn't have anything what I got. I'm far from rich, but I'm doing, I've had a good life.
I've always said, Bruno, that I don't need to be rich. I just want to be able to pay my bills and be happy. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted, and I'm not somebody that's got to have a lot of money. Let me ask you real quick before we run out of time. Did you have a chance to see the WrestleMania 40 special that they did?
No, I really didn't get an opportunity to see that.
When you get a chance, take a look at it. I'd be curious to know what you think about it. I was expecting something that was a little bit more about behind the scenes of WrestleMania, but it seemed like it was more of a promo for Rock. Kind of wondering where they may be going with this. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I got property I take care of here in Walls, Mississippi, where I'm from, and during the day, and I work for the town of Walls too. Actually, an elected official. So
you told me that actually last night. I didn't know you were an elected official.
Yeah, I'm an alderman. I've been an alderman for the last 3 years. The election is again next June, so I'm going to hope we'll get on here to let me push for some donations and T-shirts, signs, key rings, whatever. I got to get reelected. But yeah, we had a workshop this morning and we had a meeting after that, and I had to get on the tractor and take care of some property. So I stayed busy for the town. It's hot and humid, but and I'm peeling. I don't know if you can see it on the.
Oh yeah, thing, I can. I'm like, how we both have that same problem. If I'm not wearing a hat when I'm out there, especially if I'm cutting, my head will blister up. So I have to wear like a hat half the time, then take it off so I don't get sunburned. So.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I wear a hat too, a baseball hat turned backwards. I don't like the big straw hats or whatever they do. They're too irritating. But sometimes I forget it, and this is what happens.
Well, Bruno, I appreciate you stopping by and hopping on the air with me since Teddy had to go into a special assignment out of nowhere. And I've enjoyed this. I just knew, like, in my mind, and I'm saying this 100% honest. When I first thought I need to find a special guest, I mean, it was within 10 seconds, your name came to my mind. I was like, I'm calling Bruno. I know he'll do it if he can, and we'll have a great conversation. And we did.
Oh, we always do. Yeah, I love it. Hey, when Teddy comes back and y'all want me to do it again, man, just feel free. I mean, I don't want to wear out my welcome to the listeners and the viewers, but I mean, I'm always happy to do it because at night I just sit here and eat my chicken wings, drink my cold beer, and just unwind.
I hear you. That sounds good, especially that cold beer I see in the image right there. So
there you go.
All right, brother, we're out of time. I'm Mac Davis. That's Downtown Bruno, our special co-host this week, and this has been Road Trip After Hours.